Okay, I know I haven't made a film in a while, and we're going to start off with a video here. Uh, and this is a little different, but I felt that it was very important. So here we go. Okay, here we go. I know most of you have been looking to me to give you a little guidance in what to get with a rifle to shoot hogs. I think I finally found it. They don't give them away at Walmart. In fact, they don't give them away much anywhere. I've never seen one of these used. But this, if I can get it there, is a Patriot Ordnance Factory 308. See the POF USA right there. Now, this rifle here is a piston-driven 308. And if you look up here, if I can get it where the shade is, this thing right there adjusts the gas. Well, this right here, this is not a gas tube. This is actually a operating rod. All the gas is right in this area, and this dial right here adjusts the gas. Well, here's my problem. The quietest, lightest silencer on the market right now is the Silencer Co. Omega silencer. Well, unfortunately, when you get the lightest, quietest, best silencer, it also creates the most back pressure. Well, what that does is causes guns to jam. And what happened in this case is that I worked with JEP Firearms to get this thing delivered to me, and it was built by POF. I believe they're out of Arizona. Anyhow, Scott Martin at POF worked with me to make this suppressor to work. Now, the thing is, there's a lot of suppressors. This thing is set up similar to like a Ruger SR762, but the best silencer, which is the Omega, won't work on none of these guns because it creates too much back pressure. And what Scott did, they made a gas plug on the suppressed setting that bleeds off the pressure from this Omega silencer and allows my gun to function. If you notice, I don't have a big magazine in there. These guns are plenty heavy without those extra 20 rounds, and I just don't need them. I say 20, it's probably a 20 round magazine, and I think I've got a 10 in there, but you don't want to carry that extra weight. You want this to be able to sit on the place and rest. Also, this has a special POF stock on it here. This thing is adjustable. You adjust it, adjusts for the length. The cheek piece comes up. I don't really use that much. I did adjust it for the length because I'm not really a little bitty feller. Also, you're going to find that POF comes with some features that most guns don't. If you notice that little funky looking trigger right there, well, that is the factory trigger. And that is a drop-in trigger made by POF. And it comes standard. You also need there's a little deal right here. What that does is lock back the slide, and it makes it ambidextrous where you can lock it back with either hand. Everything on this gun is ambidextrous. You notice the safety is on the right side right here, ambidextrous. This thing right here, this is something, I don't know if this is exclusive to POF or not, but this covers the pins that hold the trigger in. There's a pin in the middle, and it has slots in it. It's also on the other side, and it keeps the pins from rotating and wearing out. It just makes the gun much more durable. Scott Martin tells me that this gun has fired in tests somewhere around 60,000 rounds without anything being replaced. There again, you can see the POF USA, God Bless America, the American flag. This does look like a standard AR-15, but it is not. This particular rifle is not a Revolution. I wanted the most durable, the most reliable that POF could offer, and the Revolution may have been that. I don't know, and it is lighter than this one, but this is what I wanted. I also had POF put on. I don't know how many of y'all like them, but I do not like the collapsible stocks. And the collapsible stocks, they all wiggle, and they are short. The parts in them are a little bit different, and I just find that they are not as reliable as if you get a full rifle length tube here. And anyhow, some more things about POF. They've got ambidextrous slide pull deal there. And if you notice, it's got that full length hand guard. And this is one heck of a rifle. We did get it dialed in. Actually, I like to shoot hogs with the 125 Sierra Game King. I mean, it just seems to put them hogs down with authority. At 100 yards, even using that pulsar scope, scopes like this, thermal scope, they're not really made for pinpoint accuracy. They're made to shoot at night. But I can go out and touch holes with this rifle, even using those 125s. And my 125 grain bullets, they are not known for accuracy because these are Spitzers. And this gun seemed like everything real well. Another thing about this gun, I noticed that the 125s didn't matter what make, the 168s all shot to the same point of impact at 100 yards. That's bad news for the hogs, because the hogs, I can switch ammunition and don't have any other sight in or anything else like that. But anyhow, I wanted you to know about the gun. I recommend. Walmart don't sell them. You'll have a hard time finding one used. But I think I can recommend this rifle. JEP Firearms in Axtell, Texas can order them for you. He's had a little experience working with them. He also sells the Class 3 silencers and things like that. I worked with Scott Martin from POF to get this rifle dialed in. And
I want to add here and pause that film. I forgot one real important part. I had several 308s. Ruger SR762 will not work with this silencer. It will not. I know they have adjustments that are real similar to POF, but I guarantee you a Ruger will not work. I also had DPMS. I went so far as to send the DPMS back to the factory and let them try to tune that to where it could work with this silencer, and they didn't have any luck either. Pretty much all the direct impingement 308s, you can expect none of them to work with a Omega suppressor. Now, they may work with some other brands, but not the Omega. I've also heard that the Spec War made by Silencer Co. works pretty good, but that's one thing I wanted to add, that I've tried 3 different brands other than POF, and none of them would operate with this suppressor because it creates so much back pressure that it just kind of messes up the function here. So we're back on the video.
and after this video, if I can figure out how to get it on the internet, I'm going to show you a couple pigs, and this is the difference between a 300 or some of them others and shooting a pig with a 308. We only killed 4 pigs last night, and they weren't big hogs, but there wasn't no running around, no squealing, and which was a good thing because we were wading in water about ankle deep in mud, and we were wore out after hunting last night. But anyhow, that's my POF rifle, and hopefully here in a minute I'll show you some videos of some hogs. I mean, there ain't no running around, no squealing. I mean, shot goes off, hog hits the ground. Another thing about this gun, this takes the standard. This is actually a DPMS magazine here. It just takes the standard old magazine, so there's nothing special. It'll take the P-mags, whatever, but if you go get you a hog rifle or something, these things are heavy enough. I mean, this thing is really kind of tough to tote, but gosh, anyhow, you don't want to carry that extra weight. You don't want that hitting every time you're trying to brace. Another thing you're going to need is this little insulator thing here for your silencer if you run a suppressor on it. And the reason being is, number one, it keeps it from getting dented and dinged. Beating it around the other is at night. Pulsar scope, it don't see images, it sees heat. So after you shoot 2 or 3 rounds, especially in a 308, that suppressor is going to get very hot. Within 3-4 rounds, that thing will be so hot you can't touch it. Well, if you don't have this little cover over it, then that's going to glow in your scope and cause you problems. So these things, don't scrimp on them. I mean, they're going to cost you $75, $80, maybe even $100, depending on JEP firearms. You know, they can get them, but you've pretty much got to have one. So if you don't, you need to talk to Eric Pekacic at JEP Firearms and see if you can get one on your rifle, because you're going to need it with the suppressor. And I'm going to put out a little note here to Lee Davis. Lee Davis promised to give a little backing to a young girl who wanted to go to college and make something of herself, and he was going to sponsor CC here. And CC wants to go to TSTC and be a hog dog. Now, she has the disposition, but anyhow, she's waiting on your check, Lee. So, anyhow, Lee at Unique Guns, you need to send us a check. Thank you.
Okay, that's the video on the gun that I'm using now. And like I said, I have found no other guns that will function with a suppressor. This Omega suppressor makes so much back pressure. Now you can use a bolt action. You can use them on 223. This is an Omega 30 caliber suppressor. You can go use them on a bolt action all day long, no problems. You can use them on 223. You can use it on 300 blackout. But when you mount that on a 308, you're fixing to have problems. But the reason why you want a 308 is here. Here we go with a little video. And these are long shots. We had hard hunting. It was standing water. If you notice, I'm zoomed in. Weeds, I don't know how we kill these dadgum hogs. There was weeds everywhere. That hog didn't run. There's one laying right there. There was another one behind him. That hog's dead. There's standing water there everywhere. We shot through weeds. We shot through brush. It was a mess. I guarantee you there ain't no way if you'd have shot that with anything less. Those are deer off there to the left. If that hog hadn't fell right there, we'd never got him. There was animals everywhere out here, but the grass was high, and we're standing in ankle deep water. Really thick. All right, there's my hog. That's probably the one that run. I should have killed him right there. But you can tell they're in high weeds, kind of tough. Still looking for him. He's out there. He'll come out here in a minute. We're looking for him. There he is. He made a little detour. It's amazing we killed any of these hogs. I know you don't see him, but he's down for the count. He's laying right there where we shot him at. Still looking for more. There was animals everywhere out there, but the weeds were high and the water, and we couldn't move around. That was the first one we killed. We did recover all of these. They all dropped in their tracks. That's the difference. I mean, when you go out hunting with a 308 and you got really good bullets, things like that, you know, the 300 blackout will actually shoot a 125 grain bullet too, but it's shooting about 1800 feet per second. Well, the 308 is putting them out at darn near 3000. So it's got double the power. And will, you know, it just hammers these hogs. We recovered all of these hogs, and it's a wonder we did, because unfortunately I'm not sure we got that hog. but you can tell by all the brush. I thought I'd kill that hog last night, and this water in this place was knee deep. I didn't actually find that one. I know Bobby, one of the hunting buddies, he says it don't count unless you can walk up and kick it. Well, unfortunately, I could have kicked 3 of these, or did kick all 3. We actually took the meat. But this next one that's going to show up here, he was in knee-deep water, and I couldn't kick him. We did retrieve him. He was there, but I wasn't about to wade out in that knee-deep water to go get him. There he is right there. No idea that water was that dadgum deep, or that he was even in it. And the videos are blurry because we're shooting through standing weeds, some of the worst hunting conditions you can imagine. See, that hog's not very bright. He's completely in the weeds. He's also completely dead now, so that did him in. But anyhow, that is Texas hog hunting. Recommendations for a rifle. They're not cheap, but that's hog hunting. Thank you for watching.